We have solved one-step equations. We have solved two-step equations. Today we are solving equations that involve more than two steps. We're going to call them multi-step equations. Often they're three steps. Sometimes they may be a couple more. So today's notes, again titled Solving Multi-Step Equations. The steps we're going to complete in this order are to first use the distributive property. So if I have a number that's out in front of a parenthesis, we want to start by distributing. Once we've done that, if we have any like terms, we want to combine them. Sometimes you may have this step, but you won't have to combine like terms. Sometimes you may have this step, but there's nothing to distribute. Sometimes you'll need to distribute first and then combine like terms. Once we've done those two things, now we should be down to a two-step equation, which is what we've been working on. So solve the two-step equation using the process we've done for the past week or two. So start by using the distributive property, then combine like terms, then solve your two-step equation. It's possible we might have a one-step equation at that point as well. So example 1 asks us to solve each of the following. In part A, we are given the equation 2c plus c plus 12 equals 78. 2c plus c plus 12 equals 78. Looking back to the steps we just wrote down, step 1 said to use the distributive property. So we need to check to see, is there anywhere that I can use the distributive property? Notice I don't have any parentheses. So if there are no parentheses, there's no number in front of the parentheses that I can distribute. We don't have anything we can use the distributive property on. So moving on to step 2, combine like terms. Any like terms. Remember, we are only combining like terms if they're on the same side of the equal sign. So 12 and 78, they are like terms, but they're on different sides of the equal sign, so we cannot combine those. 2c and plus c, those are like terms. They're both on the left side of my equal sign, so I can combine them. I have positive 2c plus 1c, giving us 3c, and I bring everything else down. 3c plus 12 equals 78. And then the last step said to solve the two-step equation. 3c, so c is times 3 and then plus 12. So the last thing that happened was plus 12. We need to undo that plus 12 by subtracting 12 from both sides. 12 minus 12 cancels. I bring my 3c down. I bring my equal sign down. 78 minus 12 gives me 66. This means 3 times c, so we divide both sides by 3. c equals 22. c equals 22 is correct on part A. Part B says negative 2 times the quantity b minus 4 equals 12. Negative 2 times the quantity b minus 4 equals 12. Step 1, use the distributive property. This time I do have parentheses, and I do have a number in front of those parentheses. So we're going to start right there by using the distributive property. We're going to take negative 2 and multiply times b, and then take negative 2 and multiply by negative 4. Negative times negative is positive. 2 times 4 is 8. Step 2 says combine like terms. When I'm looking for like terms, I'm looking on the same side of the equal sign. I have nothing to combine over here. I just have 12 on this side. There are no like terms to combine, so we can solve our two-step equation. Subtract 8. My negative 2b comes down, equals 12 minus 8. This means negative 2 times b. We cancel out multiplication with division. I get b equals positive divided by negative, 4 divided by 2. B equals negative 2. Part C says negative, parenthesis, z plus 5 equals negative 14. The opposite of the quantity, z plus 5 equals negative 14. We do have parentheses. We have a number out front. Even though it doesn't necessarily look like a number, remember if there's no number there, it's understood to be a 1. So that's a negative 1. Instead of squeezing it in right there, I'm going to rewrite it with a negative 1. Our steps said to use the distributive properties. We're going to do negative 1 times z, negative 1 times 5, I have no like terms to combine. Cancel the minus 5 by adding 5. My negative 1z comes down. Negative 14 plus 5 gives me negative 9. Negative 1z, that's multiplication. We cancel that multiplication by dividing both sides by negative 1. Negative divided by negative is positive. 9 divided by 1. There's multiple ways you could do this problem. This one we worked through as a multi-step equation with a number out front that I could distribute. Another way we could do this, I'm going to go ahead and leave that negative 1 right there. Another way we could do this one, we could think of this as z plus 5. And then times negative 1, because we do the parentheses first, so z plus 5 first, and then times negative 1. So another way you could have done this, and maybe your Algebra 1 teacher taught it this way, was to start by dividing both sides by negative 1. Z plus 5 equals negative divided by negative is positive 14, and then subtract 5. And we get the same answer, z equals 9. Either way will work. I generally tend to teach students to distribute first always, because one like this, you're going to have to eventually combine these like terms. I can't divide by 3 because of this plus 2k in there. So I think generally it's easier to do it the first way we did it, where we distribute and combine like terms first. And always do it that way. But this one, actually, it's a two-step equation, so it's a little faster if you do it this way, if you're able to. Part D. Oops. says negative 3x plus 8 plus negative 2x equals negative 12. Negative 3x plus 8 plus negative 2x equals negative 12. We start with the distributive property. I do have parentheses. Notice I don't have a number out in front there other than positive 1. So if we are distributing, we're just doing 1 times. And notice also, this here's only one term. I just have that negative 2x. You could think about it as distributing. The other way you could think about it is I've got two signs right next to each other, plus and minus. Plus and minus next to each other, I write that as a minus. Check to see if we have any like terms we can combine. They have to be on the same side of the equal sign. I do. These terms right here, negative 3x and minus 2x, I can combine those. Remember, we're always looking at the sign in front. This is negative 3x minus 2x. They are both negative. If they're both negative and I'm combining them, I just want to do 3 plus 2 is 5. I've got negative 5x's. And we're down to our two-step equation. Cancel the plus 8. Same thing here. Make sure we can add and subtract integers. They're both negative. Should be negative 20 when I combine them. Divide both sides by negative 5. Negative divided by negative is positive. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Couple more, and then we will take a look at a story problem before we end the notes today. This one says 3 times the quantity k plus 8 plus 2k equals 39. 3 times the quantity k plus 8 plus 2k equals 39. Step one said to use the distributive property. I do have parentheses. I do have a number out front. We can use the distributive property. 3 times k. 3 times 8. Positive times positive is positive. I distributed. Everything else I copy down. Step 2 says combine like terms. We are combining any like terms that are on the same side of the equal sign. I've got 3k plus 2k. That makes 5k. Everything else gets copied down. And now we have a two-step equation. 5k plus 24 equals 39. I can move the 24 over by subtracting 24 from both sides. I get 5k equals 15. And divide both sides by 5. K equals 3. Whoa. I don't know what that is. Part F. Part F. Says 15 equals negative 3 times the quantity x minus 1 plus 9. 15 equals negative 3 times the quantity x minus 1 plus 9. Start with the distributive property. Negative 3 times x. Negative times negative. Positive 3 times 1. We distributed this negative 3. Combine like terms. Positive 3 plus 9. There's like terms. They're on the same side. I can combine them. Solve your two-step equation. Subtract the 12 over, divide both sides by negative 3. X equals negative 1. And then the last problem today, it is a story problem. It gives us a rectangle. Move this over. There we go. And it tells us the perimeter of the rectangle is 84 inches. We know the length of the rectangle is 24 inches. And the width of the rectangle is 2x inches. We are asked to find the value of x. Perimeter of a rectangle is 84 inches. We need to find x. It gives us the figure there. If this were on an Algebra 1 quiz or test, it would probably say set up an equation and solve your equation to find the value of x. So you can't just plug in some stuff for x and then figure out which one works. We need to set up the appropriate equation that we can then solve. So perimeter, remember, means to add up all the sides. So we need to add up all the sides of this rectangle. So this side right here is 24 inches plus this side here is 2x inches. This side, remember, a rectangle, these are right angles, and these two sides are equivalent. So if this one's 24 inches, this one's also 24 inches. And same thing here, if this is 2x, then this one over here is also 2x. So that would be an expression for the perimeter, 24 plus 2x plus 24 plus 2x. And we know that this perimeter is 84, so equals 84. Remember, an equation has to have an equal sign. So there's our equation. We added up all the sides, and we get 84. And now we solve this equation the same way we just did those previous, 6 problems? 8 problems? Start by distributing. We don't have anything to distribute. Combine like terms. 2x and 2x, that makes 4x. 24 plus 24 is 48. And solve your two-step equation. These cancel. I get 4x equals 84 minus 48. 4 minus 8. I can't subtract that, so we need to borrow 10 from the 10 spot. 14 minus 8 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. So 84 minus 48 gave me 36. And divide both sides by 4. And make sure you always answer the question that's being asked or the statement that it's telling you to do. In this case, find the value of x, which we did. X equals 9. Sometimes it might say, find the sides of the rectangle. Well, the sides of the rectangle would be 24 inches by, you would have to plug 9 in here, 2 times 9 by 18 inches. In this case, it just wanted us to find x equals 9. That is it for today's notes. See you next time.